Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we are sitting down in the Bourbon Bunker. We are continuing our series of everyday shelfers. So first I want to thank Nick for joining us today again. And then Old Faux Fanboy's back in the house. What's up, Josh?
What's up? I'm staring at some cool Old Faux construction plan docks. Pretty neat stuff.
I do have those mounted, so you cannot walk out with them.
No,
we'll see about that.
They're probably heavy too.
They're aluminum, so actually they're pretty light. Hanging them took I think a couple hours to get the precise measurements, but I'm OCD, so.
I was about to say, I bet Nick nerded out on that for a while.
Oh, it was a good half day. You should see the plans because when you go inside, you have to like label it. So I have like my diagram with my little spreadsheets and grid, and then I mark each one and I have all the measurements, and I just come in and just.
So do you use the cheat where you take the level and put the tape on the bottom of it, and then you use the level and make sure it's level on the wall, and where you mark the pieces of tape is where you mark your holes?
So my process goes, I get my grid paper, and then I measure my wall, and then I evenly space it, so I have all the measurements. So if you notice, it's a perfect grid, just like the grid behind me. I got this behind me, I got this nine things, so it's like I got it all measured out, then I write down the measurements, and then I use the auto level, because sometimes the ceiling goes a little off. So then it's like I measure, verify, get out the 36-inch level. I mean, it's a huge process.
Like I said, nerded out.
He's not even an engineer, and he's way more anal than I could ever be.
All right, so today we are diving into A, Buffalo Trace, and B, Old Scout. So these are probably things you can find on your shelf at your local liquor store. Now, I will caveat that these are both store picks, but we're just going to talk about Buffalo Trace by themselves and Old Scout by itself, and we'll just kind of see how they taste, see how they pair up against each other, and go through the tasting notes. So we'll start off with Buffalo Trace. This is something, I drink quite a bit of. Josh is not a massive fan of Buffalo Trace, so...
It's just not my thing.
That's why we call you Old Faux Fanboy, right? Not Buffalo Trace Fanboy.
That's right. It does have.
Now
a good
these are
nose
like
on
$26, right?
Yeah, $26. Yeah.
Is that it? I've never even bought a bottle of it, so I don't know.
You really never bought a bottle?
No, I haven't.
I think it's around 26, and then like if it's like the 1 liter, I think it's like 35.
32, 35.
Yeah, I want to say
like
35.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It does have a good nose on it, though.
This one does. It's got a really good nose.
And that could be that it's a single barrel, little difference, but it does have a good nose on it.
Yeah, I'm getting some a little bit of oak and char, a little bit of caramel.
Speaking of caramel,
a little bit of cherry.
Caramel. I noticed that LBC pick there popping out behind your honey barrel over there, the Pops caramel bottle.
Okay, I'm going to have to start hiding things.
No, I've got one at home that's, I've already drank like a third of it down, and that sucker is good.
Yeah. Well, they used, on that one, getting off topic, I think they used like one of the new staves. Like I think they had, I guess there's like 10,000 combinations you can use at makers to get those, and then you pick the stave, but I guess they introduced a new stave for that one.
All right, we'll get back on topic, but It is a good bottle if you haven't opened it.
I've not tried it yet, so I'm going to go to Josh's and try it hopefully sometime soon, if he doesn't drink it all.
I'm going to take some to Bourbon Camp this week for you.
I tell you, he was kind of jerky. I mean, I left a perfectly good cherry picker at his house, and it disappeared. Like I saw him float it.
The Old Faux cherry picker stayed at my house for about a month and a half with a real healthy pour in it. Probably a little more than a healthy pour.
I was about to say, it was about 4 ounces in there.
Is that like the lost and found rule? Like if it lasts like 30 days, it's like, oh, you forgot about it. It is now mine.
I left it with the intention of coming back and sharing it with him, but it obviously it stayed there too long by itself.
It did. It was, I was going through bottle kill night, and that was first up.
So
we cannot leave him unsupervised with bottles.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not open bottles.
Yeah, note to self.
Empty ones are probably good.
Not open Old Forester bottles.
So, like I said, this one's got some cherry, some vanilla, a little bit of caramel. It's got a little bit of that oak and char to it.
Yeah, just very subtle, but it's very nice on the nose.
It lacks taste. Just my personal opinion there. It's not. There's nothing robust about it. There's nothing overwhelming about it. Just kind of
It's got a good finish, but it is a little light up front.
I was going to say the nose is probably the high point. I could probably smell this for a while, but I mean, the finish just drops off. I mean, it's...
Well, see, I like the finish. I think it's got a nice smooth one. It's not deep. It's not a strong finish, but it's at least I got mid-palate back is where I really get this.
It just, up front, there's nothing. There's no no flavor pop on your tongue for this one.
Yeah, and with Buffalo Trace being the more of the rye blend, you would expect a little bit of a pop on your tongue or a little bit more on the front side.
Now, Buffalo Trace, just the standard Buffalo Trace, is a non-weeder mash bill, right?
That is correct. I think it's like 7313 something else, so whatever those numbers add up to being. But I think 73, I think, is the first part.
Well, they don't add up to 100%, but that's okay. 7313.
And what's the last number there?
I don't know, man.
Like 12?
I don't know.
No, it has to have a 4.
Oh, never mind. It would have. I don't know. So you're right. It would have to have a 4. So it'd be like 14.
He's not good with the maths.
That's right. That's what the calculators are for, right?
We got one on our phone, so all good.
Yeah. So
first take at this, it's okay. There's nothing that's overwhelming, but you probably a little different if you put some water on it, some ice on it, and just drink it with Coke.
Well, that's what I'm getting ready to do. I always, with all reviews, you got to put a drop of water, see what happens. Open it up.
I almost brought a bottle of Coke in for it when you told me there was going to be Buffalo Trace.
It's not Jack, man.
I hear you.
And it would be like, what, cherry Coke Zero or something
Hell
weird?
yeah. Vanilla cherry.
I was about ready to say, where's that vanilla?
Yeah,
vanilla
right.
Coke.
Josh likes the Coke Zeros, and usually it's some kind of flavored stuff, cherry or vanilla. Hell, one time he had was it orange vanilla or something like that?
Something goofy.
Yeah. So
the nose doesn't change on it with a couple drops of water.
I feel like the nose has a little bit more spice on it now. Like you can pick up a little bit more of that pepper note.
Yeah, you're using one of those big Glens you can get your nose in, and my nose is too big to get in the baby.
Just put half a nostril. Like that.
Yeah, nothing remarkable.
No, this is one of those I think you take to when you have large gatherings like campfire, like good old boys, you can pass it around, $26, mix it, if whatever company wants to mix it, that's what I would do. I would take this to a camping event.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's just an everyday pour, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly serviceable bourbon.
It's not bad. It's just not. There's nothing that makes me want to go buy a bottle of it other than the price.
Right.
And for the price, I'd probably go buy the Old Foe 100 proof signature.
So we've already talked about that on the 12 Days of Old Foe. So I don't know. Should we bring that back for the Everyday Shelfer episode?
It never left, bro. It's with me all the time.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying for
I'm kidding.
For the context of the podcast.
Always. Little Old Foe never did you wrong. This just wasn't the Buffalo Trace, and maybe it's part of the single barrel. Just wasn't for me.
So, Nick, you probably had more Buffalo Trace than I have, because I'm very similar to Josh. I drink a lot more Old Forester or other things. Is this pretty on flavor profile for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple different Buffalo Traces that really stand out. I think one of the LBC picks, I forget which one it was. If it was the Double D or the Freddy's, was really good. But it had more of those stronger nose, a little more of the notes. But other than that, I think it's on par with the rest of the ones I've had. Again, it's just,
Scott, you remember when we did the 3 Old Foe single barrels versus the 3 Buffalo Trace single barrels?
I do remember that. Remember it well. We were all able to pick which ones were Buffalo Trace and which ones were Old Foe, but we could not distinguish which store pick was which store pick.
And I'm fairly certain I did mine by color, just to pick it out before we started tasting, but the Old Foe were definitely better.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
There's a slight color variation between the Buffalo Trace single barrels and the Old Foe single barrels.
Well, typically with Old Foe, I get a lot more the banana notes, some more of those banana nut bread notes. But that's just me.
So yeah, I get a little bit of that, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of the Old Forester, especially the single barrels that I've had recently, have had more either cherry or some apple to them.
The fruit notes.
Yeah, some more of the fruit notes.
Okay, so did you happen to get the Ale House Roulette that came out, the 100 proof, a couple weeks ago? Probably a couple weeks, sometime in May. It came out after Derby.
It was 2 weeks ago.
I did, but that was gifted to our friend Earl, so he owes me a pour of that.
Earl Kramer. Why would you give anything to Earl?
Well, he was. So
My name is
think
Earl.
I think it may have been his anniversary. No, it wasn't his anniversary. There's something going on, so he had kid duty. So he's watching the kids, and he goes, "Hey, I need a solid." And Earl's an Old Foe guy too.
Oh no, Earl's great, dude. I was really just being
Well,
sarcastic.
we can make fun of Earl because he's not here. So
That's absolutely right, and he can't protect himself.
Exactly. But he's like, hey, it's like, I heard there's, I go, you know what? I'm like 5 minutes away, 3 minutes with all the green lights. I'll run up there for you. So I go, as long as I get a pour, which is the rule. If I get him the bottle, he opens it, and then I get a pour. So
the Ale House Roulette was awesome. I mean, this bottle was honey orchard all over at 100 proof. It was an orchard bomb in it. So good bottle.
I really haven't had a bad 100 proof though.
This was my favorite so far.
All right, so Old Scout.
I got this way off track, Scott. I'm sorry.
Listen, it's all right.
Squirrel.
OFO fanboy, right? Start talking OFO.
Squirrel.
You just go off.
So this is actually distilled in Indiana.
So this is MGP.
Yeah, 5 years. We're looking at the Westport pick, but again.
So Old Scout has a few different variations, but Smooth Amblers, they're kind of more well-known, everyday shelfer you can find.
It's not too hard to find.
And you have some small batch, some single barrel, but I think the small batch is like 94 proof, something like that. And this one's like 107 or 105, something like that.
So because it's Old Scout and because some of it comes from MGP, do they tell you on the bottle what the mash bill is that you're drinking, or do we just know that all Old Scout is a certain mash bill? Do we know?
So I don't think they do tell you which one they are, and there are actually 3 different mash bills that MGP makes that Old Scout I think source. I think they have I think it's the 21%. Is it 21 and 36, or is it 24 and 36? And then there's the one that's the high malt, which is a weird one. It's like 60, 20, 20 or something.
Yeah, I only know of the 3 of their 4. This is sitting at about 105 proof.
So I'm picking up a really weird bubblegum nose to this thing, and that could just be something I had earlier, but bubblegum all over this thing.
No, I was going to say juicy fruit. That's what I was saying. Like, I got juicy fruit on the nose. I got a little bit.
I never would have come up with juicy fruit, but bubblegum.
Yeah, it's okay. Did your dad not chew juicy fruit? Like, my dad was a juicy fruit nut. Like, that's what he chewed. Either juicy fruit or double mint.
How about some Big League Chew?
Yeah.
What is it with you and Nick over here in the Big League Chew?
Isn't that what it came in? A pouch? It was really cool.
Yeah.
You'd roll up the top, put it in your pocket.
Neither one of y'all play baseball, though, so how would you know all that stuff, man?
I played baseball growing up. I mean, I'd throw that in my back. I'd take like half the chunk and put it in and be like, yeah.
Like you got a wad of chew in your mouth, for real? Yep. It's like
picking up
red man.
As I sit on the bench. And be like,
and you sit on the bench. You play right field and sit on the bench?
Yeah, be like, yeah, go team.
The other thing I'm picking up is some charred oak in this. Just like if you've ever used a laser at a wood shop kind of place where they laser cut something.
Oh, yeah.
This is reminding me of taking a piece of Baltic birch plywood and burning that thing.
Damn, that's pretty specific. Baltic birch. It wasn't just some other random wood.
It wasn't wood. Baltic birch.
That's what you buy, this little like 1/4-inch sheet. And so that's what you laser really easily because you can burn through it, or eighth-inch sheet.
I mean, anymore, that sheet of Baltic birch is now like $100.
Probably is.
I buy 12 by 12 squares, so I don't know. 12-inch by 12.
So the nose on this is actually a little bit better, I think, than the Buffalo Trace. I get a little bit of those fruit notes, like you said, that juicy fruit. It's a really sweet and subtle, on the nose.
This one's got some more damn burn behind it.
Yeah, this one has a little bit more of a kick. And I mean, it's 105 proof. I think to me, it seems like it's just a smidge darker. Like I said, it could just be the lighting, but a little darker. But on that first sip, I mean.
So the front palate isn't overwhelmingly hot, but it does heat up as the finish goes down. But this is actually really good. It does give me a little bit of the mint though, which I'm not real crazy about. Like in my mid palate back, just a little bit there, I'm getting almost like a mint flavor.
Now, where would you describe the mid palate? Is that where like the popcorn gets stuck, or is it? You can really taste that sausage gravy on there. Where's that?
Like the sausage gravy, because you get the pepper, right? Like you can get that mid palate right in the middle of your tongue there.
Okay. This has a long finish, though.
I was going to say that spice, like after that mid to the end of the finish, is like really, really holding on. Like Buffalo Trace kind of just dissipated pretty quickly. I mean, this is.
Yeah, no, this has got a good long finish for sure.
Higher proof though, right? 105.
Yeah, we're sitting at 105.
And Buffalo Trace is what, 94?
90.
Is it 90?
I think Buffalo Trace sits at 90 proof.
It is 90 proof. You're exactly right. So that being said, this one's definitely got a little bit of heat to it. The taste though is just got a little mint. I'm going to say a little bit of like pipe tobacco almost. Maybe that's where those wood characteristics you were talking about.
I was going to say I'm picking up more wood on this one.
Yeah. So,
All right, gonna drop some water in it. Scott, what have you been drinking lately?
what have I been drinking lately? Honestly, I've been hitting a few different of my Nulu picks, and I've been drinking a lot of Starlight lately.
Rumor has it we're gonna get a new Starlight pick. What do you think?
I'm pretty excited. I'm kind of anxious to see how all that turns out. I'm hoping maybe we can sneak away with two half barrels.
I hope we can too. And what I think we're gonna get to pick has been an awesome bottle before.
Absolutely. So
I killed it at Bourbon Camp a month ago.
you killed it at Bourbon Camp
Yes.
a month ago. How did I miss that Bourbon Camp?
Yeah, you didn't get the invite.
Man, I tell you what,
Wow.
shady man. I mean the shade. I'm slightly butthurt.
Slightly butthurt. Hey, all right. So I see the Old Elk pourer over there. Is that was there a club that put the Old Elk pourer out?
So, so I am a fan of the Old Elk. I like the Old Elk weeded store picks a lot. So I have a couple of those. That pourer specifically came from Pirates. So KBC, they just put out a 5-year pick. So, yeah, you get a gold elk pourer, which is hilarious. And then I'm trying to get one of those Hendrix penguin pours because I'm a huge fan of penguins, and I think it'd be hilarious
That would
to
be
get
funny.
a penguin versus an elk. But that's just me.
So a couple drops of water really calm this thing down. It's still a long finish, but not nearly as much bite to it.
The nose changes too. I mean, it's not quite as sweet, but it's still.
I mean, I still pick up a lot of those wood notes.
Yeah, it's still got the char and things like that. The juicy fruit kind of dissipates a hair, but it's more like almost like not honey, but like something like a sweet, like maybe agave.
What in the hell does agave smell like?
I have no idea.
It smells like between honey and brown sugar.
What crack are you smoking?
I don't
That's
know.
too exotic for me.
Too exotic.
Way too exotic. Now you're going to have to get some agave, and we're going to try it.
So Kira puts agave in different drinks and stuff like that. So like she'll periodically bring it over, and I just happened to be sniffing on it one day. I was like, "What does this even smell like?" And that's why it smells sweet, like something sugary, but not never mind. So what's the taste on this thing? The finish is better or worse, or
it calms it down, but it's not much different. It's got enough heat to it that it doesn't change.
I'd probably honestly just have it neat. I mean, I don't think it's that distinct of a difference that I would do anything.
I might disagree. I think I might like it with a couple of drops of water. I think this on an ice cube would be probably pretty solid.
Did you just need to disagree to have something to say?
No, I feel like, honestly, I feel like it got a little sweeter. It took off some of the pepper notes that you were getting up front, and also the mint's gone now.
Good. I was just checking to see if you were having a Toby moment or something.
No, I'm not disagreeing just to disagree. I don't like to do that. It's not fun.
Oh, all right. Nick, what do you think?
I think it's a solid one. I don't know what the price point on this was.
I want to say 55 plus or minus.
Yeah, well, I was going to say after out the door, I think it was closer to 60. 55 plus tax, about 60 out the door.
So about 60 out the door.
So I definitely like this more than the Buffalo Trace. I thought it packed, on my palate, I thought it packed a little more of a punch. I liked a little more of the notes, the wood. There's a reason why I have a couple of these hidden in the back. I do like these. I do like taking these to various outings. It's just nice.
This one was bottled by Diana or Deanna?
Sure. I mean, whoever that is on the back. They do have their own. So I have done a few picks out at Old Scout, and it is a nice tour. It's just a little bit of a jaunt. Definitely like a day trip. I think it's like, was it 5-6 hours?
Yeah, where's it at in West Virginia? Is it like Wheeling or someplace like that? Or
Williamsburg? It's not Williamsburg. It's so. All I know is
West Virginia.
You go out and you basically take. I think it's
Max Welton
64
straight out. So you have a couple tolls, couple windy roads, and then once you get off at the exit, there's like a biscuit, like a breakfast biscuit place, which is really good. Highly recommend.
Sounds like a road trip.
Do you go before, after, both?
So I go before. So the 3 times I've been, we have always stopped at like I don't know what it is. It's not Biscuit Belly. It's just like a biscuit joint. They have really good sandwiches. Go there, load up on some carbs, and then they are like a mile or two just up the road.
Do they have country fried steak?
Yes. Yes.
That's-
No. It is
that's-
like a legit breakfast.
That's a road trip, Josh.
Hey, I introduced you to some breakfast this week.
It's pretty good.
Good stuff.
That's pretty good.
Loaded hash browns
Ooh.
with a biscuit on the bottom. The loaded hash browns have bacon, onion,
Peppers?
cheese. I don't think it had peppers
It
in
didn't
it.
have it was bacon, onion, cheese, and then it was smothered in gravy and covered with fried eggs.
Where is this?
It's called Geraldine's in Southern Indiana. It's right across the Big Four Bridge.
Lordy. I mean, I could run over there, but I'll have to get like an Uber to come back because
You should definitely run over there and then get an Uber because then you burn off at least part of the calories.
I could swim. I could swim across the river.
Don't do
and
that.
Okay, no, too dirty.
Yes. So, anyways, Geraldine's, good breakfast. Loaded hash browns, fried egg on top.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid.
Duly noted.
Duly
That's
noted.
good. So it's but anyway, so big breakfast place, and then you go out there, and it pops up. It's a nice little tour, and then like going down to the rick houses is really nice. But I think they have their own bottling line and everything, so that's where they put the labels on, but they hand write everything else on the back. So it's a pretty neat little operation. It's a little out of the way. There's also, it's not too far away, but I think it's like this old, maybe Greenbrier or something like that. It used to be like this old military-based place that really cool. Not too far away from that either. They have good food out there. We've been there a couple of times. Good tour. So,
Overnight stay place there.
yes. I think it's called the Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Sounds like a weekend trip.
In.
So let's round this round out. Old Scout. I said I liked mine with just a couple of drops of water. I bet it would be fantastic on the rocks. Buffalo Trace, I think, is neat. You can mix it. You can do whatever you want. Buffalo Trace. It's just an everyday pour, right?
Diet orange, vanilla, Coke Zero.
Absolutely, you can do all that stuff.
All right.
I would vote Old Scout. I would not be opposed to having it on ice. And then Buffalo Trace. Yeah.
All right.
I vote for the Old Forester, and then we go to the Old Scout, and then Buffalo Trace.
Who invited this guy?
I don't know. He just comes along.
I'm just here for the booze.
All right. So if you want to follow us some more, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got all kinds of stuff going on out there. Our website's pretty dull and boring. You can check it out if you want. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, ding the bell if you're listening on YouTube.
Ding, ding, ding.
And then I guess that's Scott, Nick, and Josh signing off. Peace.